Can you beat Batman Arkham Knight without gliding? After almost beating Batman Arkham City without gliding, I began wondering the same question about its much bigger sequel. With the massive scope of Arkham Knight's Gotham, this challenge may be much more difficult, while at the same time, it is potentially easier due to the Batmobile. So, this may be a mixed bag of a challenge. Regardless, let's find out if I can capture Scarecrow and turn the Arkham Knight without unfurling my cape. Just like last time, let's go over the 6 biggest problems that this challenge presents. Number 6. Moving around. Unlike last time, moving around Gotham is incredibly easy, all because of one special thing, the Batmobile. Without the need to glide around the city at all times, this challenge is made oh so much easier. But let's not forget the times we simply don't have the Batmobile, which is surprisingly often, especially in the beginning of the game. Obviously, we don't have the Batmobile for a good 5 to 10 minutes when we take control of Batman, which makes getting to Gordon and the cop in Chinatown not the easiest. On top of that, we have various sections where we must leave the car behind to continue, which really just wastes time rather than providing a challenge. I'll say that I had a much more boring time moving around the city in this game compared to City. I believe it has something to do with the general layout of the buildings, which are a lot less generous than in City. Plus, of course, there's the whole fact that we're on 3 huge islands, and the only way to get across them is the bridges. That being said, there's only ever one time we have to get between the islands, so I can't say it's a common occurrence. Number 5. Predator sections. Just like last time, Predator sections provide a decent level of difficulty, especially so this time, since the foes are much smarter than previous games, and these sections have so many more enemies. At the same time, you have a lot more tools at your disposal, so it could be seen as easier. Since enemies are just more aware of our movements, we have to be extremely careful in every aspect. Just like last time, there is no glide kicking the final enemy or gliding behind enemies to silent takedown. However, we do have the voice synthesizer and remote hacking device, so our difficulties are far from extreme. Really, this was just to tie this video in with the first, and Predator sections are rarely a problem. Number 4. Ace Chemicals. There's a surprising amount of movement in Ace Chemicals. Before we can bring the car in, there's a bit of dangerous movement we have to go through. One is dropping onto the crane without touching the ground, or even getting to the gate control. Then there's the point where we actually get into Ace Chemicals. After beating up a few thugs, we're posed with this wall that seems like we have to eject from the Batmobile and glide. Luckily for us, the line launcher comes in clutch, and we can launch from this wall to get over it. Right after the Joker reveal, we're presented with something I thought would kill the run. Rather than letting us run to the Batmobile, we have to press the button to enter it. Normally, when you're at this distance, Batman will glide to the car to get in, and I thought he'd do the same thing here. Luckily for me, he doesn't, and just jumps to the pillar in front of him and gets in the car. Then we can escape the complex and move on with the story. Number 3. Arkham Knight HQ. Not so much the mall where you fight him, but the tunnels you have to drop through to get there. These fan blades provide a decent challenge for our run. The biggest challenge is dropping through one of the fans, landing on another, and getting into the small outlet to continue. However, after we get through the fans, we have almost no trouble. This biggest challenge is more of an annoyance and just time consuming compared to anything else. Then of course there's the fact that we have to move the Batmobile back up the tunnel every time we blow something up, because we can't leave it without it being on solid ground. Aside from that, it's really just slow, and not exactly difficult. Number 2. City of Fear. The cloudburst has gone off, and Gotham is flooded in fear toxin. The Batmobile is destroyed, and we're stuck on the rooftops. We have to make it from the Botanical Gardens all the way to Stag's Airships, and back again. All the while, never going below the gas line, or else die. This is not going to be easy. Is what I would say if this wasn't the 3rd time taking this path into Founders Island. Honestly, this whole section is really easy. It's just time consuming. I just wanted to put this second last to build anticipation for the actual hardest, and because I wanted to subvert your expectations. So yeah, all you have to do is take these tracks into Founders Island and grapple to the highest rooftops. It's even easy to get onto the airship. Foreshadowing. As we just need to get to the nearby building to grapple on. Find Stag, get the Nimbus cell, and get back to the Batmobile. There's basically no problems in City of Fear, so let's move on to number 1. Number 1. Those damn airships. In Arkham City, the event that made us lose the challenge was the Demon Trials. In Arkham Knight, that event is trying to get onto the damn airships. Somehow, the line launcher can't latch onto the airships at all, and they happen to be some of the highest structures in the city, while being at the edge of Founders Island no less. Meaning, we can't find any buildings to line launch between to get onto the ship. And this is incredibly infuriating, because we have the highest building in the city, Wayne International Plaza, right next to the ships. If we could just latch onto the second airship, we could make it onto the first without gliding. But somehow, these blimps can't be latched onto, despite holding an entire sub-area in them. So we have to glide and ruin our run only a few hours in. What's worse is that once we're in the airship, we have to throw this crate out the window, and that opens a way for us to get into the ship again. So if there was some way to destroy this window before getting into the ship, we could theoretically get into the ship without gliding. But you know what? That doesn't even matter, because we have to glide again to get to the second airship. There is no other way to get across the ships except for glide kicking the window. So even if we could remove the glide to get onto the ship, we can't remove the glide to get across the ships. At least, I doubt it. If anyone can find a way to circumvent these glides, get a video and put it in the comments. Thanks, Stag. You ruined this run twice in a row. So, unfortunately, you cannot beat Batman Arkham Knight without gliding. This run is killed only a few hours in, and twice in a row at that. Unfortunate, but the case. This run felt a lot more tedious than the Arkham City run. Whereas the City run had some fun in it, the Night run felt just like the normal game, but generally slower. I don't know, but still don't attempt this run unless you really want to have a long day. With that in mind, stay tuned for the completion video of Arkham Knight coming eventually. Until then, like, subscribe, and share this video around. I'll see you later, chaps.